Hi there! This video is just a quick practical primer on how to approach the newly released targeting calibration chips and the formation feature. For a more in-depth look at these chips and the reasoning behind some of the advice I'm about to give, I'll refer you to my previous video on the topic. Since the chip income is very limited, you shouldn't go spend them willy-nilly. Prioritize generic attachments that can be swapped around. Your starting point will most likely be your assault rifle characters, preferably with phase strike attachments. When choosing your first pieces for extreme calibration, you want to filter the pieces with the desired base stats and see if you can find a calibration result that doesn't consume too many chips. As a rule of thumb, you'd ideally want an average calibration result of 170 before using the chips. If you're like me and you don't have any such result, you should start by calibrating pieces with the best base rolls. That is, pieces that will consume the least chips for fixing their base stats, the white lines. As you see here, this piece would only consume 3 chips to maximize its base rolls. If your calibration result is not high enough, your attachment will consume too many chips. While we can't be too picky about the base rolls of a muzzle, the extreme calibration of this piece would cost 24 chips, of which 18 would be consumed for maximizing the calibration result, that is the orange lines. With an average of 170 calibration, which is the recommended target, you'd be at a cost of 12 chips instead. Fishing for a 170 average calibration result can be time consuming and costly. I spent about 2 million gold trying to get a good result for this video, but I had no such luck. Remember that gold farming is now unlimited, so if you run out of gold, you can at least dedicate your farming to this resource for a bit. As you start out with extreme calibration, you should prioritize the stats by their importance and not aim to maximize one piece at a time. Generally speaking, attack percentage should be the first stat you max on your pieces. Keep in mind that once you start extreme calibration, you cannot go back to fixing your calibration result via the normal calibration process. Therefore, only start using the chips once you're satisfied with the orange lines on your attachments. Keep in mind that the priority for crit rate varies with each character. Petya, for instance, has 25% crit rate on her signature weapon Optical Illusion, so my Petya doesn't need any more crit rate. Therefore, if I were to calibrate her attachments, I wouldn't use any chips on crit rate at all. Of course, since she's the only MG user that I'm using, she's lower on the list of priorities than other weapon types, such as assault or sniper rifles. Now let's have a look at the formation feature, which is useful when the number of optimized attachments is still so limited. When adding a character to the lineup, they appear with their current equipment. You can change a character's weapon and attachments from the screen to the desired setup. The changes you make here don't affect the actual loadout of your character. As you can see, Jungju still has the crappy attachment equipped, which I just exchanged for the piece on Planeta. Indeed, the attachment is still equipped on Planeta. Naturally, if you now add Chakri to the lineup, she's now missing the attachment slot on Planeta, since it is now equipped on Golden Melody. To fix this, I'll go back and equip a piece from Klukei's weapon instead. This feature allows you to put the best attachments on the characters of this lineup without having to go back and forth in the refitting room. You can quickly click through your attachments on the left column to see if you're satisfied. Of course, I now can't add Klukei to this team since her equipment was scavenged by the others. For a second team, I can put the Corrosion trio and choose the best weapons and attachments for them, which won't be in conflict with my first preset at all. Michi, for instance, can take Golden Melody of Jungju. I'm adjusting her attachments as well, and with that I won't have to think about her equipment again. This demonstrates how useful generic attachments are. Since my Burn and Corrosion characters use the Phase Strike set, I can maximize 2 teams in parallel. And with that I wish everyone the best of luck with their attachment rolling. Again, if you want to have a more in-depth understanding of the updated calibration process, I refer you to my previous video on the topic. In any case, thank you so much for watching, see you next time.